The busy season is coming. I am here to tell you some of the things that we need to be doing to prepare our business for a successful spring season here in the 2022 real estate market. Let's get into it. So anytime there's a big market shift or I'm going into a new seasonal trend with the real estate market, I like to do what is called a very quick SWOT analysis. So if you haven't heard of a SWOT analysis before, it's actually pretty simple and it's widely used in a lot of different industries. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this is just a really great exercise that I use to help recap the last quarter and then forecast what I should be expecting in the next quarter. So if we're thinking of strengths, for example, what worked really well the last couple of months, and if you have enough data, what worked really well last spring season. Now, if you are doing a really good job of tracking what's working and what's not working in your business by following your metrics, this hopefully should be as simple as just looking back into your numbers from this time last year and getting an understanding of where most of your business came from and what was really clicking during that time. This helps us know what we should be doing more of and continue doing into the spring. Now, on the other side of that, weaknesses are a really great place to kind of pay attention to and plug any holes in the boat, so to speak. So if we're talking about weaknesses, this might look like any lost clients that occurred in the last 90 days, any balls that are being dropped in your business, like maybe you're not really following through on marketing or prospecting activities that you had hoped to do this year, that kind of stuff. Opportunities can be looked at in a couple of different contexts in terms of opportunities in the spring market. So for example, during the spring, this tends to be the busiest time of year for buyers and sellers. So clearly there's an opportunity to leverage the increased traffic in your market, for example, if that's the case for you. But we can also be looking at opportunities in our business as well. So look at what opportunities that might have come around since the start of the year for you. For example, if a new lead source has presented itself to you, maybe that's something that we can leverage going into the spring. Or if you are finally starting to see traction on a new social media platform like TikTok or Instagram, see how we can leverage that going into this busy season and try to get more leads from that as well. And finally, we want to pay attention to what potential threats might be on the horizon as well. So if we're talking about going into what is usually a busier season for your real estate business, that's going to come with threats of its own, right? So we know that when we get busy with clients, a lot of times prospecting and marketing kind of falls. That's going to set you up for some really slow months in the summer, for example. So if that is a trend that has presented itself in your business over the last couple of years, you want to be thinking about what you can be doing now to fortify your business to avoid that going forward into 2022. Other threats we might be looking at as well are threats that the market kind of presents to our client base. So for example, if you are very buyer heavy right now, and a lot of your buyers are really looking at the numbers and being conservative with their home search, you're going to have some challenges going into the spring. For example, interest rates have already started ticking up at the time of this recording. So how can you begin to position your marketing to support that fact with your buyers and help them A, have the urgency to go forward with the purchase at a time that makes sense for them, and also B, understand that yeah, they might be paying more with their monthly payment because of a higher interest rate now, but that's only going to continue to keep rising throughout the year. So now is the right time, for example. Now, I think that ties really nicely in with the next step. So once we've identified our SWOT, we can now start to really beef up our marketing and clean up some of the messages that we've been putting out there to be in alignment with what we are expecting going into the next season. So again, for example, if you are expecting some of these threats that the new season is going to present into our business in terms of what the market is doing, what current interest rates are doing, that kind of thing, we can start to really clean up our marketing towards buyers and sellers who might be impacted by those types of market conditions that the spring is going to bring. Take an extra step here when cleaning up your marketing messages to really get curious about your audience and where they are in the cycle of homeownership right now. So for example, if you're really wanting to get some listings going into the spring season and you think that you have a lot of potential for that with your database, think about those homeowners and where their mind is at right now with the market. Are they really excited to capitalize on the high home values and getting as much money for their home as possible? Or are they really worried about where they're going to go next? So really get curious about your target audience, meaning the buyers and sellers you're hoping to attract into your business through social media marketing or other types of prospecting. Get curious about where they're at, where their mind might be in regards to their home purchase or sale, and start to fine-tune your marketing messages so that you are speaking directly to them and also to their hopes, dreams, and fears, all the things that they think of when it comes to their real estate transactions in your unique market at this specific time of the season. Once you've tidied up your marketing message and you have a really good sense of who you need to be speaking to and what you need to be saying to help generate those leads, we can then get really clear on our prospecting and marketing goals. So that's number 3. You and I know, especially if you've been in the business for a while, you'll know that whatever we're doing today is going to pay us 90 days from now, right? So 90 days from the time of this recording and when this video is going out is going to put us right smack dab in the middle of like April and March. For a lot of you, that is the peak closing season, meaning the time that all of these deals that you're putting into escrow now begin closing. And so we need to be focusing on prospecting and marketing activities right now to start filling up our pipeline for April, March, and even May. May, and even June. So right now is when we need to be filling up our pipeline for those April, May, and even June closings. So this doesn't have to look like a big change to your existing routine in terms of prospecting and marketing, but let's just get really clear on those goals. So think of a couple of things that you can do every single week to generate more connections. So for me, that looks like our 10 by 10 by 5 strategy, which really boils down to making at least 25 contacts per day per social media platform with followers who already engage with us, so maybe our database clients, for example, and new people who are just learning about our business. We also want to make sure that we are engaging in our regular prospecting activities like making our database calls and contacts, reaching out to new leads, setting appointments, all those types of activities. If you don't know what those metrics need to look like for you, you might have a systems problem here. So in the Market Authority Academy, I'm working with real estate agents to help them get very, very clear on their most profitable lead generation sources and to help them dial in their daily, weekly, and monthly metrics in order to help get them to meeting and exceeding their production goals. So if this is something that you've always kind of fallen short with and you're not sure where the gap is, maybe we should talk. All the details to apply to the Market Authority Academy are in the caption below. You can click that link and book a time to chat, and we'll listen to where you're at with your business now, share a little bit about what we do in the Market Authority Academy, and if it makes sense to work together, we'll take it from there. So finally, once we have a really good idea on the threats and opportunities that are awaiting us in the next quarter, we've dialed in our marketing to help support us with those, and we've gotten really clear on our prospecting and marketing activities, it's time to set some really clear goals. So I like to count goals in a couple of different categories, right? So for me, a goal can look like any of the following. I like to count daily and weekly metrics that I want to hit. So in terms of the number of contacts and appointments to hit, that sort of thing. I like to look at my goals for my monthly priorities, meaning any monthly milestones or projects that I want to hit that are going to help me succeed in my business. And I like to measure my production and revenue on a 90-day rolling basis to help make sure that I'm going to get closer to my annual production and revenue goals. This actually works out really well because we are on what tends to be about a 90-day sales cycle with most of our clients. And so that is a really clean, efficient way to track our sales and closing metrics. So what does this need to look like for you? I would set a weekly milestone in terms of the number of appointments with new clients that you want to hit as a minimum. So for example, if you're wanting to get 2 closings a month on average, make sure that you're hitting 2 to 3 appointments with new clients per week. You might need to do a little extra math to figure out how many contacts it's going to take you to get those appointments, but the more you're tracking these numbers, the easier it will be to predict these. Next, think about what milestones or projects you can complete this month to help get you closer to your goals. So again, for example, if we're looking back at our S.W.O.T, if one of the weaknesses you identified was poor follow-up that was resulting in lower conversion in certain lead sources, this month you need to have a project or a key milestone to hit to solve that problem, whether it means bringing on a CRM or fine-tuning your follow-up plans or just building in more accountability to make sure that you're not going to let that issue persist into the spring. And finally, think about your quarterly goal. So in Q2, which is so crazy to even think that we're close to Q2. But in the second quarter in 2022, what are those production goals needing to look like for you? How many closings do you want to see at the end of the quarter? How much revenue does that need to account for? Get really clear here so that, again, you can begin reverse engineering and making sure that your daily and weekly metrics are in line with that. And there you have it. This is a really easy, quick, 4-step process to find clarity and build a step-by-step plan to hitting even your loftiest goals for the spring season. Happy selling out there. This is a really busy season for a lot of markets, so I'm wishing you lots of luck and lots of confidence as you go forward in helping your community with buyers and sellers. Thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, keep on crushing it.